So, hello everyone. This is Garg, your faculty for Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. That is GS Paper 4 of Civil Services Mains exam. Now, all of you know that the paper for 2025 was conducted yesterday on 24th of August. Yesterday, the first reaction video was there, and today I'm going to have a detailed analysis of the paper. The model answers will also be provided to you, and I hope that they will be available with this video itself. Okay, so the answers have been prepared, and first of all, I will do some basic analysis that what was my reaction seeing this paper. So as you can see here, that this time UPSC has gone easy on the candidate when it comes to ethics. I mean, compared to the last year, the paper seems to be easy. Last year also section B was very easy, but section A questions were a bit tricky. I often say that ethics paper is just like a 5-star menu card. Okay, the questions, I mean, the question, they looked very difficult, very complex on the surface, but somewhere deep inside they are connected with basic concepts only. Okay, it is just like a simple T mentioned while using rhetorics. A lot of fancy words are used in the questions, but actually the question itself is very simple, and this is what you will know in this discussion also. So questions were easy, I would say. In fact, the overall length of the paper was lesser than the last year. In fact, 2022 was the lengthiest paper. The total number of words in the question paper was somewhere around 3,000. Okay, then next year it was 2,200. Then next year, last year it was 2,600. This time it is somewhere around 2,400, which I would say that students can take it. They should prepare themselves for a paper which is at least 2,400 words longer. And I told you earlier also that why UPSC makes lengthy paper, so that the students can't fake anything, so that the things that come out on the answer sheet, they come directly from your heart. The ideas that you have internalized, those ideas only come on the answer sheet. That's the logic behind lengthy papers. This paper is about your data interpretation. This paper is about comprehension, decision making in tough situations. So they want to create certain panic in you, so that you can make the decisions in those tough situations. Okay. Apart from that, I would say that ethics has been the theme of GS papers this time. Ethics paper has dominated. In fact, the idea of ethics morality has dominated the 4 GS papers. Ethics paper, yes. Then in paper 2 also there were questions on constitutional morality and social capital. In paper 3 also questions were there on terrorism and Naxalism, which are directly associated with rights and justice. So if you can give internal security idea in ethics paper, then in internal security paper also some ethical dimensions can be added. Okay. Apart from that, the paper was very standard. Standard paper was there, 250 marks, 130 plus 120, section A, 13 questions of 10 mark each, so 130 marks. And section B, 6 case studies, 20 marks each, 120. So 130 plus 120, 250 marks per pen. Okay. The difficulty level, as I said, was reduced largely due to an easy section A. But see, the idea here was that many current affair things were added to the questions. Okay, many questions from applied ethics, like questions regarding this Russia-Ukraine war which is happening. So how politics is done by developed countries by using this proxy war. Environmental ethics like border security management has become a big issue for India these days. But developing infrastructure in these bordering areas has an environmental dimension, because all these are ecological sensitive zones. So and when we make infrastructure over there, so it leads to many violations of environmental ethics. Okay, so something like that. Then question on social media was also there, that how social media is leading to many ethical dilemmas, environmental issues, border issues, politics and war, governance regarding that how rationality and critical thinking helps in good governance. So it was not that very direct questions were asked. Questions, though they were associated with the basic conceptual understanding, but they were asked in context of current affairs. This is how now the UPSC will also make new questions. The syllabus is limited. Already 12 papers have been passed. What the UPSC will do, that they will connect the concepts with the current affairs and form new questions. So this is a cue for all of you that whenever you are reading anything in the newspaper, try to look into its ethical dimension also. Like this stray dog problem in Delhi, Supreme Court has come up with a judgment that how we can show compassion towards the dog while also ensuring that humans are not in danger. Okay, similarly, like yesterday, this one dowry death, one girl was burnt alive in Delhi NCR. So how, despite of the laws, how these things are still happening. So all these issues have an ethical dimension. So whenever you read anything, even from history, economics perspective, try to look into the ethical dimension. This would be my advice to all of you. All right. Simply, like many students, many seniors, they will tell you that how you need to prepare for ethics paper. Just remember the definition of each topic given in the syllabus. Write down few examples for each definition, and things will happen. But no, it's not like that. You have to have a conceptual understanding what compassion means, what justice means, what right means. People know yet that there are many different type of rights: freedom of expression, right to equality, right to internet access, right to be forgotten, right to walk, right to disconnect. But what rights are? If you don't understand that thing, how will you be able to apply that thing in different perspectives? Basic understanding of rights, why they are given to human beings, how rights are associated with each other. These understanding needs to be there so that application part becomes easy. As said in the class also, that this paper is more about well-formed mind rather than well-filled mind. This paper is more about wisdom rather than knowledge. So this paper is a testimony to this, that you have to know how to apply ethics in different situations. Okay. Then the length of the paper I have already talked about. Okay. Yes, conceptual clarity has always been the focus in ethics paper. How rational thinking impact public servants, underutilization, misutilization of funds, environmental ethics questions have been there. Questions are there on governance. Okay. These are basic concepts which are directly given in your syllabus. Clear cut idea is there. I often meet students who have prepared all their ethics and they don't know the basic differences between governance, good governance, and ethical governance. So if you don't know that, concepts are not there, then certainly the weaker foundations would be there, and then no matter what you learn in future, because of the weak foundations, you will never be able to apply them in the exam. Okay. So these things must be understood. Then repetition of themes is there. Yes, that's why doing previous year's questions is so important. I always tell students, in fact, in class also, I seldomly give new questions, but what I give is PYQs. Every topic that I discuss in the class, then I give a PYQ of it. So if you have done PYQs of the paper since 2013, you'll be ready for this paper. In fact, most of the questions are associated with themes which have already been asked by UPSC in previous year's questions. Okay, so how you have to prepare for ethics? Conceptual understanding, its application in different perspectives, examples, and practicing PYQs. That is a mantra for scoring good marks in ethics paper. Understood? So this is what you have to do. Newspaper editorials and dedicated sections you have to understand, like on my Telegram channel also, Ethics by Abulgar. I often share, I do not share the ready-made articles on what are the ethical issues. I just share the article with you on my Telegram channel. Why? Because I want you people to think about them. Directly giving you the solutions, directly identifying the ethical dimension in the articles, it will become like spoon feeding for you people. This is what I do not indulge in, because if you won't develop the art of looking into the ethical dimension by yourself, then the magic won't happen. Okay. So in the end, it is given that UPSC is upgrading its quality of question. So you also have to upgrade the quality of your preparation. And ethics is not what you can prepare after your prelims. For solving such papers, you need to have deep understanding of ethics. Okay, so it should be part of your preparation right from the starting. As I said, that first of all, you do some basic foundational subjects like polity, history, and then you should come to ethics. Okay, because ethics takes time to reach the heart. Okay, दिमाग में तो आ जाता है जल्दी, heart में it becomes difficult. So include it in your preparation right from the starting. That would be my. Now coming to the questions. Now in this PPT, this division of questions is also there. Though I'm not a true believer of this idea, because in ethics each and every unit is connected to other topics. Like this whole ethics paper is made up of three disciplines: psychology, philosophy, and public administration. And all three are used together, and integrated approach needs to be taken. Like, for example, let's say greed is there. Okay, so greed, if you look at from psychological angle, then it is absence of emotional intelligence. If you look at from moral philosophical angle, it is absence of sthiti pragya. It is against the idea of madhyam marg given by Buddha or golden mean by Aristotle. It is against the idea of stoicism. From public administration point of view, if you look at it, then it is presence, it is manifestation of corruption in administration. It shows nepotism in it. So greed is one single topic which can be looked from different angles. So though this thing has been given, but it is not of much importance. Okay, this year two questions from section from ethics and human interface. Readers say they haven't asked any question, though the quotations comes from readers only. Aptitude, again, though there was one question on attitude also. And then contribution of moral thinker, three quotes came. Then unit 6, again, three questions were there. And then international relations, one question. Okay, so you can look at this. It's more factual. You can find it in the PPT itself. But again, it is of no much use. Okay, it is given, but not much use. Now coming on to the analysis part. So this mains test series, this thing is also given over here. Now let's start doing section A. The first question is that in the present digital age, social media has revolutionized our way of communication and interaction, but it has also led to many ethical dilemmas. So, what social media, what impact it has on the mankind, this is what we have to discuss in context of ethics. So, how exactly you can start the answer? That technology is a useful servant. It's a good servant, but a dangerous master. Social media has transformed the way in which we communicate with each other. But if it goes unchecked, it can lead to many ethical dilemmas. This is how a simple introduction you can write. Then, what are the ethical dilemmas in it? Privacy, right to privacy is there versus data exploitation. We all know that how Cambridge Analytica, how that political firm in Europe, how it bought data from the Facebook and used it to manipulate voters in India. Like that movie was also there, Social Dilemma. Okay, it says that if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. All right. So Facebook, Instagram, you're using all these apps, but you're not paying anything from it. So from where they will recover their revenues, they will use your data. All of you know that whatever you search on social media, whatever you watch over there, the ads associated with them starts popping up on your screen. So privacy, data exploitation is there. Like this thing is freedom of speech and misinformation. Yes, you have the freedom of speech, but unchecked freedom on social media has led to hate speeches, has led to trolling of many people. So these things you can write about, like on platforms like X, these things, political debates are happening. At one point, safety versus cyberbullying is there. You know what is happening, trollings and everything. It has led to cyberbullying, trolling, harassment, disproportionately affecting vulnerable groups like women, minorities, and youth. That Rashmika Mandana deep fake you can write about. Then equality versus digital divide. Okay, this is another. Who India really represented on social media? The social media opinion, is it the opinion of India or is it the opinion of Bharat? Because most of the people are not active users of Twitter or X, you can say. Most of the Indian people in rural areas, they're not on Instagram, they're not posting photographs. Okay. So is the view equally represented on social media? This is also a question. Then well-being versus addiction. Social media, on an average, youth are spending more than 3 hours on daily basis on social media. It is leading to wastage of a very precious time of youth. Okay, so yes, well-being is very important. Right to health, right to dignified life, all are violated if a person gets addicted to social media. Okay, that endless scrolling that you do. So these things need to be controlled. So in the end, social media is both an enabler and a disruptor. कहते हैं कि like the internet is the world's biggest library as well as the world's biggest distractor. So library तो है, but again lot of distractions are there in this library. So you have to avoid all those things. The idea is to maintain algorithmic transparency, digital literacy, and global cooperation. This is how you will answer it in a balanced manner. Okay. Then coming to the next question, again constitutional morality has come up. A question on constitutional morality was asked in GS paper 2 also, that what significance it plays in its role to guide public servants and how it ensures good governance and accountability. Now, this same line, constitutional morality is not a natural sentiment but a product of civil education and adherence to the rule of law. The same line I say in my first class itself, Ambedkar ji said this thing, that constitutional morality is not a natural sentiment, it must be cultivated. We must accept that our people are yet to learn it. How it can be learned? It can be learned through civil education and rule of law. So this line I have written also over here. It comes directly from the class. Okay, how I have started the answer? The true governance flows not from power but from principle. Even if you don't know the code, you can simply start with a definition of constitutional morality, which means understanding and internalizing the ethical framework given by the Constitution and applying it in different aspects of life. Then, what is the significance of constitutional morality? Certainly, to uphold the rule of law, to promote good governance, fostering ethical decision making in dilemmas, like DPSPs. They act as the conscience of the Constitution. They act as guide for public servants. Like Article 51 says that in international relations, we should maintain peace and security. We should uh, we should acknowledge, we should follow all the international agreements and treaties. We should try to solve the problem through negotiations and arbitrations. So wherever a civil servant is in dilemma or the politician is in conflict that whether he should power or arbitration negotiation, then the similar guide is there in form of constitution. Okay. Then how it promotes good governance and accountability, it leads to institutional integrity, leads to citizen-centric administration as given in Ghanaian principles and DPSPs. It leads to conflict resolution, as I gave you the example. Okay, like how economic development and environmental rights can be balanced. So Article 48A it is given. Moral leadership it has talked about. Okay, writing these 3 4 points will help you. Even if you write 3 3 points, then also things are. I mean, you get much more than average mark. Okay, around 5.5 6 marks. Yeah. Let's jump to the next question. This definition, this report is there that war is a diplomacy by other means critically analyze the above statement in the present context. Now it has given critically analyze. So you have to write both pros and cons. You have to write in support as well as against the quote. So what he's trying to say is that war is not an end in itself, but a tool to achieve political objective. And in the 21st century, this thing is actually happening in the last 3 4 years. What is happening between Russia and Ukraine? I mean, Ukraine, is it a really a threat for Russia? Only because it is getting support from USA, which is sitting so far away from Ukraine. So actually, Ukraine is not fighting. It is US which is fighting with Russia. The same in Israel-Palestine case also. It is not Israel who is fighting. It is actually US who is fighting. So these small countries are nothing but pawns in the hand of these bigger countries, Russia, US, and China. Okay, these three are actually controlling all these pawns. Pakistan has recently become a pawn in the hand of US after India declined to lose its integrity. Okay, India ka, some dignity, some ego is there. We are a self-reliant nation. So all these examples, as you can see here, Russia, Ukraine example I have given. Then Israel, Hamas, South China, China has this expansionist nationalism. So how it is trying to influence the countries nearby South China Sea. But there is a limit also to this quote in contemporary context. Why? Because of the nuclear deterrence. Now, wars are not fought only on the borders, but also in the share markets, also on the internet. Okay. For example, Pakistan, they won, I mean, they said that they have won the war on social media. So, उनका war social media war था. Okay, actually, war they never fought. Then economic statecrafts. Okay, economic sanctions which have been put on Russia, which have actually benefited them, I would say. India has always taken the ethical approach. Even after Pahalgam attack, India took a very strategic decision. Okay, we rather than going for a full-fledged war against nuclear nation, we specifically target terrorist areas. Okay, so strategic autonomy, maritime security, all these information you can get from your international relations. So in the end, that quote remains relevant. War, even hybrid and cyber, still aim at political objective. War is nothing but politics with bloodshed. This is what we can say. In fact, the same quote I have given in my test series also. Yeah, hi. Online, few students are there, but Mirza Puria Chora. Okay, Vikas and Itachi. Maybe someone from Japan is also taking my ethics classes. Anyways, so yes, these contemporary context, Indian context, all these examples you can get from your international relations. Okay. Then moving to the next question. Keeping the national security in mind, examine the ethical dilemmas related to controversies over environmental clearance of development projects in ecologically sensitive border areas in the country. Now, because of this China, because we have this hostile neighborhood, now Bangladesh also, Maldives also. So sometimes we have to develop infrastructure in eco-sensitive zones like Andaman Nicobar Islands are there, like Lakshadweep Islands are there, in northeast states also, because the ecology over there is very sensitive. So if we make a tunnel, if we make a road, it can have a huge impact. But in the name of security, often these projects are prioritized. Okay, they are fast tracked. Okay, often the environment impact assessment, social impact assessment is not done in these projects in the name of security. What kind of ethical dilemmas are that people face? I started the answer by a quote of Roosevelt that the nation that destroys its soil destroys itself. Okay, then again, just a basic production I have given that in ecologically sensitive border areas, development projects such as roads, defense, infrastructure, and ports are often prioritized for national security. But these projects frequently raise ethical dilemmas as they can cause deforestation, biodiversity loss, and displacement of tribal communities. What are the issues? National security on one side, environmental protection on other side. Then example I have given, then development versus tribal rights, that whether the development is inclusive or not. Tribals, I mean, it is the tribals, the rural population which has to bear the brunt of the requirements of national security. People living in cities, they are comfortably sitting at their home, but these tribal needs have to be displaced because of that. So yes, certainly their human rights have to be taken. And tribals, in Hindi we call them Adivasi. Adivasi word has a very negative connotation associated with, but actually it's a very positive term. Adivasi means a person who is living there since ages. Okay, Adi Kal person. So he's the original inhabitant, tribals, and we are actually the outsiders to them. And outsiders believe that they are superior to the indigenous tribals. So example again is given, Narmada Bachao Andolan, Nicobarese tribe in Great Nicobar face potential displacement. Short-term gains are there, but long-term sustainability is also important. Then transparency versus expediency. These projects are often expedited. Okay. Then economic growth versus ecological ethics. This debate will always be there. And in class, we have discussed it as anthropocentrism versus ecocentrism. Anthropocentrism says that humans are at the center of ecology. So anything which is beneficial for them is also ethical. Whereas ecocentrism says that all species, all flora and fauna have a respected role to play in ecological balance. And humans are just first among the equals. Because I think voice is very much clear. कुछ इशू आ रहा है वॉइस के अंदर. Okay, let me know again if the voice is not clear. Okay. विकास एक बार दोबारा मैसेज करना मुझे, मैं चैट में डालना अगर वॉइस अभी भी क्लियर नहीं है. So in the end, you will write that India's national security cannot come at the cost of environmental degradation. Destroying natural foundations in the name of development risk undermining the very nation we seek to protect. In the end, it is not the humans, but it is the environment which is going to persist. Environment, just one rebooting would be there. It is the mankind that will get extinct, not the nature. Nature will always remain. One big deluge will come, one big pralaya would be there, one big tsunami would be there, and the whole humanity will be wiped out. Okay. Nature to rahega. We humans are not going to be there. So something like that you can write here. Then now again this question, last year also question number 3 was there. This year also question number 3. These 3 codes are there. First is See, two things are given in the question itself, that what do each of these quotations convey to you in the present context. So first of all, you have to write the basic meaning. Most of the students have problems in these quotation based questions. So first of all, write down the basic meaning, what the quote, what the person through this quote is trying to say, and then how it is relevant in the present context. Okay. So the first quote, as you can see, that those who in trouble untroubled are, will trouble trouble itself. Simple quote if you will read it with a calm mind. Okay. That those people who remain untroubled during troubling times, they trouble the trouble. The trouble is scared of these people. So basically, this is a question associated with Sthiti Pragya. So many ideas you can write. Like the Sthiti Pragya principle, which I have discussed in emotional intelligence. Then Stoicism has talked about it. Buddhism has talked about it. Like Buddha, there was a man who used to abuse Buddha every time he used to go for his sermons. But he was always remained calm under that situation. Same with Prophet Muhammad, that a woman was there who used to throw garbage on him. When he always maintained his calm, he always showed compassion towards that woman. Sri Ram, when he was asked to go to the forest, 14 years exile was given. He remained calm. He showed his happiness that now he will get a chance to learn more things, to meet sages around the world. Okay, so when calmness is there, okay, then the trouble will actually become the opportunity. Like Modi ji has said, na aapada mein avsar. So only people with an untroubled mind can convert a problem into an opportunity. So all these ideas you can write. Like I have given example of Ratan Tata, what he did after 2008 terrorist attacks. During COVID-19, many doctors maintained their cool. In Northeast India's ethnic conflicts, administrators maintained their cool. I have also given one example of movie Three Idiots. Like why Rancho was able to maintain better, was able to do better than Raju and Farhan. Raju also had high IQ, but Rancho had high EQ, emotional quotient. Okay, so this is what has been application in administration. Yes, in order to maintain professional, civil servants have to go through so many problems. Okay, like transfers are there, shunting process there, demotions are there, pressure from politician is there, threat to their lives, threat to their family well-being is there. Only a calmed personality, like there's this IPS officer Prabhakar Chaudhary. He never comes under influence. Okay, he always do what is right. So any trouble, any kind of threat of shunting of transfer really doesn't bother him. So all these points you can write. Like I have ended this question by the English translation of a famous Hindi poem by Shiv Mangal Singh Suman. कि क्या हार में क्या जीत में कंचित नहीं, है बीत में कर्तव्य पथ पर जो भी मिला ये भी सही वो भी सही. So English में translation I have done that whether in defeat or victory I am not at all afraid. Whatever comes on the path of struggle, this is right, that is right. I will not seek any boon. Okay, so this is what you can do in order to add rhetorics in your answers. You can just translate the Hindi songs or poems and write them in your answers. That's a very good way actually. You can write dohas also, but don't write the doha as it is given. Just give an English translation to it and use it as a sentence. Okay, then moving on to the next question. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes. William James. Now, I mean, this is a quote in which hundreds of examples are there. That most of the people have survived and have been successful in their life only because of their attitudes. It was Yuvraj Singh attitude only. He was diagnosed with cancer during the World Cup, but he overcome that thing because of his positive attitude and also won the World Cup for India. So Yuvraj Singh example is there. Then too many ideas like Mary Kom in boxing, Avni Chaturvedi, India's first female fighter. Okay, India like Atmanirbhar Bharat, self self-reliant India mission reflects a shift in national attitude from dependency to self-confidence. Similarly, India's startup ecosystem. Okay, now today we have become confident that we can do things by ourselves and we can become successful. Projects like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. It is change of attitude only. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. It's change of attitude only. That how by just changing our attitude we can alter our lives. We can put us on the path of development. Okay. So whether it is a farmer adopting new agricultural practices, a student embracing digital learning, or a community rejecting outdated social norms, attitude change remains the catalyst for progress. It's like UPI payments. It is just a change in attitude and how impactful that thing has been on our lives. Okay, let's move to the next question. The strength of a society is not in its laws, but in the morality of its very simple put. Like we all have discussed this idea in Unit 6 relation between laws and ethics. Laws are minimalist in nature, ethics are maximalist in nature. Laws comes from outside, imposed from outside, they have external locus of control. Ethics have internal locus of control. And no matter how many laws you make, finally the progress of society will depend upon the morality prevailing in. Like today, we have laws for almost everything. Okay, we have laws against corruption, against dowry. Again, that dowry case you can mention, which happened yesterday. Okay, that how despite of stringent dowry laws, anti-dowry laws, yet a woman was burnt alive. And the people and the men, they were not afraid at all of the laws. Corruption, anti-Jallikattu laws are there. Okay, anti-triple talaq laws are there. Anti-child labor, discrimination, untouchability laws are there. But still all these things are happening in India. Why? Because ethics are not there. In contrast to this, you will find very less number of laws in developed countries like Scandinavian ones. There you won't find many laws, yet ethical behavior is showcased. Why? Because of strong sense of morality among the people. Okay. Uh, Vikas and Tachi has problems regarding voice. I think these are the two. Uh, I don't know. Maybe I have to call someone. Maybe just a second. Okay, I've messaged them. Maybe they will correct. Let's move forward. This is all about laws direct people from outside, but ethics influence from within. Laws can compel compliance, but only morality nurtures trust, harmony, and sustainable progress. A man without ethics is a wild beast loosed upon the world. So many quotes are there with you that we have discussed in the class. Okay, an ethical person does right things even when nobody is watching. No laws are required for people with well-developed ethical framework. Where the thoughts are pure, actions automatically become the. Then again, this corruption example I have given, this election example I have given. Okay, then environmental protection examples are there. Digital age challenges. Can we control what is happening on OTTs, which is happening on social media? Okay, can we control these things through laws? Certainly not. I mean, the technology is changing at such a fast rate that even before the law comes, the technology changes. So how exactly we are going to control all these things? Only through developing a strong sense of morality among people. Okay, so this is how we will write then some ideas of Amrit Kal, Viksit Bharat at the rate of 2047. Something we need to write to please government also. We don't know who's going to check the paper. Okay, so some of these ideas are there. Very easy question are those. These time, in fact, the course are very easy. Then question 4 part A, that for any kind of social re-engineering, by this question was a little tricky. That social re-engineering, by successfully implementing welfare schemes, a civil servant must use reason and critical thinking in ethical framework. Justify this statement with suitable example. Now see, this question becomes easy for you if you have some understanding of epistemology. Basically, the knowledge of knowledge. Okay, from where the knowledge comes? Knowledge comes from three sources: reason, evidence, and emotion. In philosophical terms, we call it rationalism, empiricism, and emotions. And every year we see that questions are associated with these three schools. Like, for example, reason. Okay, reason has been talked about by Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Kant. Gandhiji has talked about reason. Indian philosophy of Ratha has talked about reason. Okay, that life of Ratha, life of reason, leads to harmony with the cosmic law. So reason we have to Descartes, I think, therefore I am. So reason they have talked about evidence, ethical empiricism. That that the idea of right and wrong comes from the experiences that you have, the knowledge that you get from your environment. Okay, John Locke has talked about this idea. Emotions, ethical sentimentalism. That ethics comes from the heart, from the emotions that a person has for others. Adam Smith has talked about it, Rousseau has talked about it. Adam Smith says that the moral judgment of a person depends on his ability to empathize with others. Okay, so if these three schools are clear to you, you can attempt many questions. That last year also this question was there, that how this internet is impacting the rational decision making of the public servant. Before that, also many times questions have been there on this rational decision making. In fact, this year, two essays were also there regarding this. Let me read the essays for you. Like one essay was that in section A, that thoughts find a world and creates one also. The man is nothing but the result of his thought process. What he thinks, he becomes. Okay, so it is about rationalism. Then fourth essay was that best lessons are learned through bitter experiences. The bitter experiences, it is talking about empiricist approach. Both the essays, you can, especially that reason one, you can easily answer if you have the understanding of rationalism. So many things you can write over here. Understood. So how reason impact a public service? How it has been started, that reason and critical thinking are the lights by which society navigates the darkness of ignorance and injustice. Welfare schemes are powerful tools, but their success depends not just on policy design, but also on the reasoned, ethical, and critically informed actions. So, from where these things, reason they have talked about, critical thinking they have talked about, an ethical framework, basically it is about emotions. Then contextual adaptation. Civil servants, through his critical thinking, can adapt to the new situations. Okay, I mean, a fixed law cannot be applied everywhere. in the same manner in all the situations. So contextual adaptation, problem solving under constraints. So many constraints are there. Like during drought, how the limited resource can be allocated. Evidence-based decision making is there, like what is happening in PM Ujjwala Yojana, what is happening in Manrega. But any kind of reasoning shall be done within ethical frame, as it can lead to injustice for the fairness and equity. Ethics balance emotions with reasons. Ethics balance laws with compassion. These things have to be taken into. It shows, like I've given examples of certain movies also, like Article 15. This web series Panchayat example is given over here. That how that police officer in Article 15 uses his reason, how he investigated the whole case of that suicide of those two girls. Actually, it's not suicide. Actually, murder was there. So this is how, using movies, using ideas, using examples from current affairs, using mythologies, all these arsenal is there with you, through which you can tackle these questions. Then this question, I was I already predicted this question. Okay, because uh, 2 years back they asked question on Buddha. Last year there was question on Sikhism. So this year I was expecting that UPSC will ask question on Jainism, because Nastic school basically they are asking. So very simple questions. Major teachings of Mahavira and how they are relevant to the contemporary world. Simple. I have started with the most popular quote of Jainism, Ahimsa Parmo Dharma. Then some basic line about Mahavira. Then his five woes, Ahimsa, how today all these violence is happening. Satya, today media ethics, they are, all these medias, they are giving you fake news. Okay, how children are lying to their parents, how the professionals are lying to their clients. Asteya, non-stealing, today all these big businessmen, they are stealing money from the pocket of common people. Brahmacharya, how these extramarital affairs, sexual misconduct is happening because of hedonistic tendencies. Apargriya, how from British Raj we have moved to billionaire Raj. Okay, so especially in this consumer-driven world, Apargriya teaches us to live simply, reduce greed and pursue inner peace over external wealth. Then doctrine of Anekantavad, that truth has multiple aspects, we have to understand them all. So today many problems like cow vigilantism, moral policing, riots, mob lynching, all these problems can be sorted by using the idea of Anekantavad. Then karma's theory is there, it creates deterrence among people to do good things. Shiva and liberation, he sent this sterilization of stray dogs and returning them back to their original inhabitants. Uh, Shiva liberation we have talked about. So, as the world, finally, one conclusion is there, that as the world faces moral decay, social unrest, and environmental crisis, Lord Mahavir's ethical path offers hopes. Okay, that's the very easy question. Just a minute. Let me some water. Makes me happy, refresh me on.
कमेंट्स में आ रहा है ऑडियो क्लियर नहीं शीनू है लास्ट
हाँ।
उधर तक ही है.
So let's move to the next question now. Question number 5, part A. That one who is devoted to one's duty attains highest perfection in life. Life is statement with reference, sense of responsibility and personal fulfillment as a principle. So, duty word आते ही what you have to remember, stance, the ontological approach. Then we have Nishkam Karma. Okay. The philosophy of Nishkam Karma, as you can see there, that what it says, Nishkam Karma, you can start that Karmarne Adhikaraste Ma Phaleshu Kadachana. Similar kind of things you can write, that we have the right to perform our actions, but we have no right over the fruits of our action. Okay, something like that you can start with. The duty is most important thing. It is your duty. It helps you to stay in present. It helps you to stay away from the anxiety of the future and the regrets of the past and focus on the present moment in which you can do infinite things. Okay, like mostly you students also, na, what you are what you are worried about. You are worried about the result that is going to happen in future. And no amount of anxiety and worriness can change the future. The only thing which can change the future is your action, which you're not doing because you are worrying. But this approach, focusing on your duty, leads to highest perfection in life. It is good for civil servants to perform his responsibilities and also helps in personal fulfillment. It also helps you. Okay. So how sense of responsibility? Like army soldiers posted in Siachen Glacier. I mean, just for the sake of even say lakh or 2 lakh rupees, if somebody asked me to stay there in Siachen in that minus degrees temperature, certainly I won't do that. It is only because of the sense of duty which is keeping these soldiers motivated. And medical professionals posted in epidemic hit areas. Civil servants often face the threat of suspension, adverse posting, social backlash, and yet they are into performing their duties. A civil servant working in a cloudburst hit area, so even his life is in danger, and yet he is staying there. Like Armstrong Palmer, despite of limited resources, despite of not getting help from the political lobby, he was able to construct a 100-kilometer road in Manipur, known as Miracle Man. Ajit Doval example you can give. Ian Session example you can give, that just by performing his duty, how he create fear in the mind of politicians. Then Ajit Doval, and how it leads to personal fulfillment also. The perfection of a man's soul is measured by the excellence of his action. Okay, the in session example I have given, how it leads to intrinsic satisfaction. Officers like Ashok Khemka, IS Pradeep Kasmi, they have remained internally motivated despite of having both of them had more than 50 transfers in their career. I mean, most of the time they were packing and unpacking their bags and furnitures only. Okay, so devotion to duty brings clarity in decisions, strength in adversity, and peace in conscience, which leads to highest perfection. Then, this next question, to achieve holistic development, a civil servant should act as an enabler and active facilitator of growth rather than a regulator. What specific measures will you suggest to achieve this goal? Now, this question is in line with what Modi ji has famously said, that the government has no business to be in business. He called for minimum government and maximum governance. He wanted public servants to be the facilitators. He wanted officers to be enablers rather than doers. He wanted them to play the role of steering the boat, showing it direction rather than rowing the boat. Rowing and doing things will be done by other sections of governance. Will be done by private sector, civil society, citizens by themselves. Okay, government just has to play that coordinating role, the enabling role. Like I often give this diagram in the class and that many times because in many topics this idea of governance comes. What is governance? Governance is this. Citizens this is what governance is. So when we say that government has to play an enabler role, it means that we have to make this thing small and this big. And we have to strengthen these relations. We can make these diagrams also. Okay, and what specific measures can be taken in this regard? Privatization and disinvestment. All of you know these things. Digital India, Jam Trinity, startup, ease of doing business, regulatory role at what is done by SEBI, TRAI and RBI, Atal Innovation Mission, outsourcing in services, PPP model. Like all these roads today, infrastructure is built through public-private partnership, infrastructure development, environment sustainability. These things a civil servant has to perform. Okay, protecting the interest of the marginalized. That idea you can write. So again, easy question. It could have been part of your GS paper 2 also. Then question number 6, part A, it says that for an ethical work culture, there must be a code of ethics in place in every organization to ensure value-based and compliance-based work culture. What suitable measures would you adopt in your work? Last year also, the similar question was there that what should be an ideal code of ethics for public services. In India, we have code of conduct, but code of conduct is more restrictive in nature. It ensures compliance based behavior, not value based behavior. Value based behavior is done by code of ethics. So, what we require is what kind of ideal code we need is a T-level code where values will be there. Based on these values, certain principles should be there, and then finally, specific behavior. So these two upper parts comes in code of ethics, and this is code of conduct. So what we need is integrating both. That's what is required. This question has been asked twice before by UPSC. This is the third time the same question has been asked. Okay, so this is something about code of conduct I have written. So what is required? Establish a clear and inclusive code of ethics. Leadership by example, regular training, sensitization, safe reporting mechanism, conflict of interest management, incentivize ethical behavior, transparency, periodic ethical audits. All these measures, in fact, I've just copied them from the last year's model answer. Okay. So again, very direct question is there. Now, coming to the next question. That India is an emerging economic power of the world, and it has recently secured the status of fourth largest economy of the world as per IMF projection. ये नहीं भी पूछते, even if they haven't added this line, then also the question would have been formed. It has been observed that in some sectors, allocated funds remain either underutilized or misutilized. What specific measures would you recommend for ensuring accountability and proper utilization of public funds? In 2019, they asked a similar question. They asked that what leads to underutilization and misutilization. So in this question, you need to have a proper understanding of what do we mean by mis and underutilization. Underutilization means that government doesn't have the efficiency, doesn't have the right training to use the funds in proper manner. That many times funds get underutilized. March rush, we have seen that only at the end of the financial year, all the departments they try to use as much money as they can. But what is misutilization? Misutilization or malutilization, you can say, it is about presence of graft, presence of corruption and nepotism in the system. Okay, what now you can easily write. If you understand under and misutilization in public funds, you can easily write the steps now. Okay, like Rajiv Gandhi ji in 1985 said that out of every 1 rupee spent by the government, only 15 paisa reaches the poor. Though it was said in 1985, few years back, even Modi ji acknowledged this idea of Rajiv Gandhi. He said that Rajiv Gandhi understood the problem but never took steps to rectify the problem. I will do it. This is what he said. Okay. Idea is efficient use of money without any corruption and nepotism. Now the steps will become very easy for you. What are the steps? Outcome-based budgeting, internal external audits, real monitoring through technology, capacity building at grassroots, citizen participation, social audit, strict enforcement of accountability mechanisms like Lokpal, ombudsman system is there, incentivize efficient utilization. So attitude change. I mean, you can say that in such questions, you can also use that multi-pronged strategy is required. Which includes internal changes in terms of work culture, attitude change, value education, and external changes in context of structure and processes like planning, organizing, staffing, budgeting, accountability, structural ki decentralize the system, okay, lessen down the hierarchy, outsource the work, okay, privatization, external change. Or you can use another diagram here. That every organization has three parts. Structure, process, and structure and process is again external changes and behavior is internal change. Work culture basically of the organization. So this is how you can organize your points, or you can just write these points and make this diagram somewhere in the side. All right. So this is the idea. This is how we are going to deal with this. Very easy, I would say. Okay, I mean, looking at section A that we have discussed, if you can't answer this with ease, if you're not happy seeing this paper, that somewhere you are lagging in your preparation, you need to revisit what you have done so far. It means that you need to put more time, more effort in your efforts, because this is the easiest paper that can be asked by UPSC. I don't think so that uh, there can be more simple paper of ethics than this. Okay, apart from one or two questions, all are very, very easy. Okay, let's move to the next part now. Section B, case studies. So see, in case studies, the idea was very simple as we discussed in the class this year also. There are certain common themes. Some 14, 15 themes we discussed in the class, like environment, gender discrimination, corruption, private interest versus public interest. Then we have these international scenarios, internal security problem, terrorism problems. Okay, so all these issues, all these themes we have discussed in the classes. And most of the 6 questions that UPSC asked were based on these themes. In fact, not most, all questions. Okay, like one was there on environmental themes, one was on international theme, one was on conflict of interest. Okay, very, very simple question again, I would say. Let's jump to the questions now. And I hope you also remember the formulas that we have discussed in the class. Okay, utilitarianism, greatest good of greatest number of people, short-term, long-term impact we see in utilitarianism, rights-based approach, how it is affecting the dignity of people, justice approach, whether there is fair distribution of benefits and harms or not, virtue approach, what kind of person you are, Nanak approach, will you be able to justify it in front of God? Will it withstand his scrutiny? Okay, Gandhi's talisman, what impact it will make on the poorest of the poor person of the society. Vivekanand society is first, Confucius golden rule, Kant's categorical imperative, nationalism approach, contract approach, deontological approach. So many ideas are there. These are all just formulas. And you can use all these formulas and these themes that you have already prepared to answer all the 6 case studies in a very easy manner. It's become it's a piece of cake. It's a walk in the garden for you. Okay, so let's jump to the cases. This first case is there that Vijay was Deputy Commissioner of Report District of hilly northern state of the country. Let me explain you in short that Vijay is there. He's, he's there the head of a district in a hilly state. Now a cloud burst has been there, which has led to devastation in the area. Many hundreds of people have been killed, many thousands have been injured. Relief work is going on. Helicopters are brought in order to shift the injured people. Temporary homes, temporary shelters, temporary hospitals have been established so that the people can be given basic utilities and services. But in between, Vijay receives a call from Kerala that his mother is very ill. And 2 days after, he got a call that his mother has expired, and he is getting repeated calls to come and perform the last rites. He's the only son. His sister is there, but she lives in US. She's there for many years now. Okay. Now many days have been passed. You are getting calls again and again, and this whole relief work has been disrupted by heavy rain, which has caused problem for the relief work. In such a situation, what Vijay should do? This is the case. Okay. Now, very easy one based on personal ethics. That at one place your personal interest is there, on the other place your professional duty is there. The professional integrity versus your own well-being. Justice for the people versus empathy, compassion, love for your mother. Then religious angle also you can write. In India it is believed na that if the last rites are not performed by the son, then the person doesn't achieve his moksha. That religious angle also you can add on. Simple case. Okay. So as you can see here, Vijay in this case faces a profound moral tragedy as he is forced to choose between his own mother and Mother India. एक ही word play कर दिया. Then these stakeholders are given. Then part A is asking that what are the options available with widget. So see, I think this option is wrong actually. Here you can also correct it in your model answer that he will leave and attend last rites. Okay, so and see whenever options are asked, just give a brief explanation of what will be done in the option. Four options are there. Either he will leave, okay, and he will stay throughout that period to that period of mourning in Kerala. But that is not a very feasible option. Second option is he will ask his seniors to appoint some other officer on special duty and relieve him. Then he can take a short break and go perform the last rites and come back. Sachin Tendulkar did this during one of the ODI World Cups. His father expired. He came back, performed the last rites, go back and also hit 100. You can give example of Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli played a Ranji match even on the day when his father got expired. Even Yogi Adityanath ji, CM of UP, during COVID, his father died and he didn't attended his last rites. Okay, he was performing his COVID duty. Many examples are there. Okay, so short term leave he can take or or not leave until red alert passes. So leave, not leave, short leave, and ask someone else, delegate your duty, ask someone else to perform your duty. Four options are there. Ethical dilemmas क्या है? At one place, public duty is there. Other place, parental duty. Integrity versus compassion. Justice to citizens versus fairness to self. I mean, if he will not be able to attend or perform the last rites of mother, that deep remorse, okay, that the deep wound will always be there on his conscience. He will always have to live with it. Then public trust versus personal well-being, means versus ends. Then in the third part, part C, critical evaluation of options available to vigil. So leave immediately, short-term leave, seek state deputation support, stay back and lead operation. You can easily write the pros and cons by using the 12 schools that we have just discussed. Okay, very easy to write them. Okay, no crisis of conscience, emotional closure, social expectations of a son are fulfilled, but it will lead to breach of public trust, abandoned district at crisis point. Okay, all these ideas you can write. Then what is the best suitable course of action to work? He must stay there. Okay, why? Because mother has already died. What he can do, either the body can be preserved for few days, his sister can come and perform the last rites and he can attend them virtually. Because see, he's there in the northern states and if he has to go to Kerala, it will take at least 2 days for him. Okay, and that won't be feasible in the present scenario. Not attending last rites, he can save lives of many people here. And that burden, even if one guy dies because of his absence, that burden will always remain with him. Even his mother would have loved him to see over there. Okay. Even the mother would have wanted that the child must perform his public service. And public service often demands these sacrifices. It is an idea of giving priority to others over yourself. Lord Rama did this. She went to forest and she asked Lord Rama to stay on the throne because the king on a throne, he has some special public duties to perform. Okay, so personal well-being has to be sacrificed many times. I personally know many IS officers who have sacrificed their personal life for the public good. So some of these stories, some anecdotes, some examples you can write to finally justify your answer. But he should not leave. Okay, let's go to the next question. Audio is not clear. Well, I think the recording part now you have to either Nazim. I don't know. I mean, I'm completely helpless regarding this audio part. It is the tech team that will look into. Okay. Next is again, now this question is on environmental ethics. That DPSP says that the government has a constitutional obligation to provide basic needs, roti, kapda, or makan to the citizens. But now there is a proposed plan that certain land needs to be cleared. This land is an ecologically sensitive zone, which is densely populated with age-old trees, medicinal plants, and vital biodiversity. And these forests also help to regulate microclimate, provide habitat for wildlife, support soil fertility, and prevent land erosion and sustain livelihood of tribal and nomadic communities. So, a lot of work has been done by these forests, but the government is saying that despite of all these ecological and social costs, the land needs to be cleared for making cheap houses for the people. Okay, and also some anti-social elements make use of these dense forests. They commit a crime and they hide in these forests. Also, man-animal conflicts are there because many wild animals they are creating threat to the life of people. When the forest will be cleared, all of them would be gone. The government is giving this logic, but it's a very simple case actually. You cannot you cannot just do deforestation or such kind of ecologically sensitive land. Okay. Again, the idea here, you can use the school of 3P approach, planet, profit, and social development, economic development, environmental development. All three must go hand in hand for sustainable development. Without this, I mean, then no development would be sustainable. Like again, what is happening in states of Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, all the development which took place on floodplains, all these cloudbursts are happening. The whole population over there is being wiped out. All the development of the last few years is neutralized by one single natural disaster. So again, I have started with the debate of economy versus ecology. Can deforestation be ethically justified for housing the homeless? The answer would be no. In short term, maybe yes, it will provide shelter to the poor, it will help them to live a dignified life. But in long term, destruction of ecologically sensitive forest will create irreversible harm to biodiversity. Tribals would be gone, climate stability would not be there. And how? You can ensure intergenerational justice. I mean, yes, houses will be given to the present poor, but what about the future generations who will suffer because of this ecological disaster? Also, how you can remove tribal non-inclusive growth. I mean, why it is always the tribals, the rural people who have to bear the brunt of all the development? And on what logic, how this can be justified that to provide houses to the mainstream people, you are taking land, you are taking away the house of the tribal people, even they are the citizens of India. So in no case this deforestation can be justified. Then all these challenges are there at socio-economic level. How the immediate need for housing, the long-term livelihood, security of forest development communities. All these ideas are written over here. Ethical challenges, administrative challenges, two easy points you can write. Then what alternatives you can use? Alternative land use, vertical housing models, eco-sensitive housing schemes, forest community partnerships, integrated policy approach. Law and order concerns can be used through other ways also. Okay, it is not like if your finger is wounded, then you will cut the whole hand. Deforestation is like this only. So all these methods you know from your environment and ecology classes. Green buildings can be created vertically, their height can be increased. Okay, something like this can be there. Eco-sensitive houses, like houses can be made from mud blocks, bamboo, green roofs. Okay, and actually see, it is not the mainstream, it is not the animals and tribals who are getting into our areas, we are actually getting into their areas. Okay, voice again, the mic is okay. Moving on to the next question. This is a clear cut question of conflict of interest. Subhash is a secretary of PWD, the state government public works department. Now he is very close to his political boss. Now a new road project is coming. A new road is going to be constructed. Now you guys know that whenever a road, a new highway, a new road is constructed, so price of the nearby land increases manifold. Now his son Vikas, as you can see here, mm, Subhash, his son Vikas is in real estate business. Okay, and he wants his father to disclose the exact location of the road so that he can buy the nearby lands and later on make profit. It's a very common practice also, most of the politicians do that. Even the political boss of Subhash has given in an implicit order, has requested him that he must cooperate with his nephew who is also in real estate business. So it is about disclosing, leaking information which is a government secret. Okay, so here Subhash is in a dilemma that whether he should maintain public impartiality, he should maintain confidentiality, or he should look for his personal and professional well-being. If he give the information to the nephew of politician, his career progression would be ensured, and giving information to the son will lead to financial profits. So it's a case of conflict of interest where his public duty is coming in conflict with his personal interest and obedience to the politician. Okay, this is what has been given. The conflict of interest का case है. Ethical issues क्या है? Conflict of interest, insiders trading, nepotism, favoritism, integrity versus familial pressure, professional accountability, idealism versus pragmatism. Stakeholders also have written here. Always remember that out of cases, in 3 you should write stakeholder. 3 out of 6 cases, write stakeholder. Okay, basically, options are there. Okay, either you share information with son and minister's nephew, you will refuse the disclosure and act impartiality. You do it, you don't do it, or you recuse from the project. Project ही छोड़ दिया. Or a fourth option can be there, though I haven't written it, that you will give information selectively. You will give it to the politician's nephew, but not to your son, because it will be a safe thing. If politician's nephew get the information, then if anything comes up in the future, the charges would be there on the politician, not on you. Yes, Subhash will not be affected. So yes, even that fourth option you can write, though I haven't written it in the model answer. Then what will be the recommended course of action? Combine option 3 and 4. Refuse disclosure and also recuse if any kind of conflict happens. Maintain impartiality, document all communications, and communicate ethical constraint to the politician. Okay. Very simple, direct cases there. No rocket science. Next case. Rajesh is a Group A officer with 9 years of service. Just a minute, guys. What is this case? That Rajesh is Group A officer in a public sector undertaking. Now he's serving his organization in a very diligent manner, and now his promotion is due. Now, how promotion takes place in government organizations? An annual confidential report is prepared every year by your immediate senior. Okay. And your last 5 year record is seen while promoting you to the next. So Rajesh is working really hard to impress his boss so that he can get the promotion which is due now. But now one day he gets an order, he gets a call from his boss that he should purchase some stationery. Okay, and and Rajesh should purchase this stationery from a particular vendor. Now tender was open and the vendor gave the quotation for the stationery which came out to be of 35 lakh rupees. Now the general financial rule says that if the project is costing more than 30 lakh rupees, then the file should be passed by the senior officer, not by Rajesh, but by his senior officer. Now, seniors don't want to take the risk. Okay, I mean, if something comes up in audit, they do not want to be held accountable. So what the lower officers do, they divide the bill into two parts. Okay, like 17 lakh bill and 18 lakh bill. Then they won't be required to be passed by senior officers. Rajesh can pass it by itself. And in fact, this case came in Delhi government also. Like in Delhi government also, if the bill is costing less than 10 crore rupees, then it doesn't need sign of higher authorities or the politician. So what they did, they prepared different bills, 9.8 crore, 9.7 crores. Okay, so that it can uh, it can bypass this particular rule. But certainly, maybe this thing is legal, but certainly it is unprofessional and unethical. So but Rajesh needs a promotion. He wants to be in the good books of his seniors. And senior is asking him to do this, which is a very common practice. And he has asked Rajesh to buy products from that specific vendor. So some favoritism and corruption can also be there. Okay. So what Rajesh shall do in such a situation? Options available. What are the ethical issues and what will be the most appropriate option? Clash between career ambitions and professional integrity. Stakeholders are given. Then options क्या है? Comply with the superior's implicit demand. Comply कर दो. His promotion would be ensured. Or strictly follow the rules or seek clarification from his superior. Fourth is explore alternative vendors, and fifth is whistleblowing approaching the higher authority. I mean, he will report the irregular practice of order splitting to the vigilance officer of the department. Now, in this case, I believe that the best solution is that he should seek clarification from his superior, and the superior insist on splitting the bill, then he should get the order in writing. Okay. Or secondly, if he wants to use a Madhyam Marg, he can explore some alternative vendors or he can renegotiate with this vendor only. So the cost comes down below 30 lakhs and the requirement automatically fades. Okay. Ethical issues क्या है? Integrity, career, obedience versus rule of law, public interest versus personal interest, optimum utilization of government money, conflict of duty versus emotion, accountability and transparency, common ideas, which we have discussed hundreds of times in our class. Appropriate option क्या है? Clarity and alternate that we have discussed, because this will lead to uphold integrity without direct confrontation, demonstrate problem solving skills, protect career prudently, and it will balance all the values. But certainly, yes, a promotion earned through compromising core ethical values is a hollow victory. You cannot get promotion by selling your soul. Something emotional you can write in the end. Then coming to the next case, this is the case of Manrega, and we have discussed a similar case in the class when I was discussing social audit with you. Like in Manrega cases, a lot of these fake muster rolls were made by the government officers. Projects existed in the files, but they were never present on the ground. Okay, and how application of RTI led to reforms in many districts of Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh, Uttarpur district, Anandpur district. All these data is given in the handouts that I have given in the classes, especially regarding to Manrega schemes. So the case is about you that you have been appointed as an administrator in charge of a district. You are responsible for monitoring this Manrega scheme. But when you looked into the records of one Gram Panchayat, you found that many irregularities have been there, which have been conducted by your predecessor. क्या है वो? That money not dispersed to actual job seekers, master roles are not properly maintained, mismatch between work done and payments made, payment made to fictitious person, job cards were given without looking into the needs of person, mismanagement of funds, siphoning of funds. So all these are there. So question is, what will be your reaction? What action you will take and how you will deal with the above situation? Zero tolerance you will do. Answer simple. Something about Manrega scheme, that how it ensured right to work and dignity of labor, but how it has become the victim of corruption. What will be your reaction? Sense of urgency would be there. Okay. Immediate audit hoga, suspend questionable payments, ensure DBTs, and strengthen social audit and community participation. You can also use say Uttam model over here. Okay, that we have discussed in this. Then actions to be addressed specific issues like how money not dispersed to actual job seekers, क्रॉस वेरीफाई करो कार्ड होल्डर्स को, डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर्स करो, आधार कार्ड लिंक, फाइनेंशियल deposit the amount directly to the accounts of the मास्टर रोल्स क्या है, डिजिटाइज कर दो मास्टर रोल को, जियो टैगिंग कर दो वर्क का, थर्ड पार्टी इंस्पेक्शंस ले आइए, ग्राम सभा verification meetings, vigilance committees can be involved in siphoning of funds, physical verification, use of satellite imagery confirm the existence of project. How you will deal with the situation? With firmness, transparency, and focus on justice. Zero tolerance against corruption would be my okay. Capacity building कराएंगे, community empowerment, ethical leadership would be there. Okay, and then I have ended up. Now, the final question, that Ashok is divisional commissioner of one of the border districts. Now, the bordering state had a rebellion few years ago. Military has taken over the government, and now there's a fight between rebellions in the state and the military government. Because of this, lot of violence is there. Many innocent people have been killed. In this context, one day, Ashok receives a news that there's a group of around 250 women and children present on the border, and they are trying to cross into your state. Okay, many of these women, children, they are crying and they are deep and they are very badly injured. They are bleeding profusely. So, and along with them, 10 soldiers in uniform and weapons are also there, and they are also asking for permission to enter the border. Okay, to cross the border. In such a situation, and Ashok has tried to contact the state home secretary, but he fails due to poor connectivity due to bad weather. Now, what options are there? Ethical dilemmas. Which option is best, and what extra precautionary measure to be taken to for the for to deal with the deal with the soldiers in uniform. Okay, so confronted by a blood of desperate humanity at the borders, Ashok is thrust to a profound moral dilemma, where the urgent need to save lives stands in direct conflict with his solemn duty to safeguard national security. It was the question of refugee crisis. Similar question has been asked earlier also by UPSC. Same on refugee crisis. That's why I again and again say that please do previous year's question. And I have given model answers of all these previous questions in my book. Okay. Even if you just read them, somewhere around you will get 300 pages of notes are there in these 12 question papers. Even if you do them properly, you will get so much examples, so many quotes you will get that you can easily answer this paper. रिबेल ग्रुप मंदीप जैसे एक मिलिट्री आ गया जैसे लिटे था LTTE in Sri Lanka, so they were fighting against the government. Okay, रिबेलियन थे, मतलब उन लोगों ने मिलिट्री रिजीम के अगेंस्ट रिबेल कर दिया. Okay, so key stakeholders I have written. You guys can use some diagram here. Okay, like maybe some sun formation or some star formation. I'm not good in making such diagrams in this digital format. On paper, I can do that. So you guys can use some diagrams to write the stakeholder. Options available: immediate humanitarian aid, selective entry. Selective entry means you will allow women and children but not the soldiers. Complete denial kar do. या फिर detain and disarm means that entire group will cross but immediately detain and disarm the soldiers. Okay. Ethical dilemma क्या है? Duty versus security. Patriotism versus altruism, short term versus long term concept. Especially in the northeast states, what is happening? I mean, most of these tribal conflicts, intergroup ethnic conflicts are happening because of this cross border migration. Okay, so that idea can be written. Legal dilemmas you can write about UNHCR, BNS, border security laws. You don't have to write the specific provisions, just name the laws over there. 2-3 laws and things will happen. Recommended option क्या होगा? That combination of selective entry and detain and disarm. He will grant entry to all civilians and injured for urgent humanitarian medical aid and shelter. For 10 soldiers, he must put a condition that they will surrender their weapons and uniforms the moment they enter, they cross the border, and they will be arrested. Why it is appropriate? Because it is an option which leads to crucial balance and it's a pragmatic solution. What extra precautionary measure you can take for border guarding police? Maintain control, distance and vigilance, verify identity. This is a very silly type of question they have added. Last year also a question on Naxalism was there, and you are an army commander, you have fought some hardcore Naxalites, and you are there in a hut, you are waiting for the reinforcement, and some 500 tribal women have surrounded you. They are asking you to leave these Naxalites. So what you will do? So the last question was that what extra precautions you will take to handle women Adivasi tribe. Okay. So again, this is something like this has been given. I believe what I believe after seeing this paper is that somebody took the last year paper and question by question, he just replayed the question with the similar themes. You getting my point? यहाँ पे नक्सलाइट्स था, यहाँ पे रिफ्यूजी डाल दिया. So similar type of questions are there, and the question numbers are also same, which again highlights the importance of doing PYQ. वो भी government है. Even these guys are not putting too much of effort. Okay. So this model answer would be available to you. Okay, it will be available to you. I think along with this video only, or I have shared it on my Telegram channel also. If you have any doubt regarding the model answers, you can give me a call or send me a WhatsApp message or Telegram message on this number. The model answers have been shared on my Telegram channel, Ethics by Aptitude. In the end, I would say that, in fact, I would request you all that please take this paper seriously. This year, again, it has been proven that you cannot get into the final list if it doesn't have a strong moral dimension in your life. Ethics अच्छे से नहीं किया, and see how simple it is. During my time, we have to do 2 optionals. Okay, now the one full optional, it takes at least 2 months to complete one optional. That one optional has been removed and ethics paper has been added. You must take this paper with seriousness and at least give 20-30 days for the first round. The next round, I mean, you can complete it in 10 days. Revision you can do just in 1 day for the whole ethics. Okay. And again, you need a well-formed mind rather than well-filled mind. So keep practicing, keep reading editorials in the newspapers. Newspaper reading is very important. You have to look things in detail, search it on Google. ChatGPT से कम ज़्यादा articles पढ़ो and do some brainstorming over the topics. Then you will be able to write answers to such questions with ease. Easy बहुत है, all it need is practice. Okay, so I think that will be all from my side. It was nice discussing this paper. Again, every year I do this exercise. Since 2013, I am doing it. So it's an annual ritual for me. Okay. So it was nice seeing many students also in the chat box. I mean at 9:15 p.m. Okay, Monday, you guys are listening ethics lecture. That in itself great motivation for me. Okay, so thank you guys for listening to me, and prepare hard, prepare well, work hard, stay disciplined. Okay, your time will come. Thank you and all the best.